Assalamu alaikum guys. Francis Ngannou just knocked out Felipe Lins in a round as expected, and then he called out John Jones, who is now a free agent. Now that's the talking point, because the fight against Felipe Lins, right, that went as expected. We all knew that he would knock the guy out in one round. But when it comes to the John fight, that's actually interesting because at this point we know that John Jones has officially left the UFC and is a free agent, or allegedly at least. So at this point, and obviously John Jones is heartbroken by the fact that he won't be fighting in the White House card. So if John Jones were to make were to give the UFC a middle finger, the best way for him to do that is to make the biggest fight that the UFC was supposed to put on, to actually put that fight on, but outside of the UFC. If John Jones actually gets his cards together and goes through this hip surgery or whatever, I feel like it's gonna be quite interesting. Like if this fight actually gets made by MVP, and also that's gonna be extremely huge for Jake Paul and the MVP, Nikki Sabirari and whatnot. That's like, just imagine, right? If this, we have been waiting for this fight for so long. Who is the baddest man on the planet? Who is the single baddest man on the planet? We all know the baddest men are Thomas Paral, Alex Pereira, John Jones, Francis Ngannou, but who is the baddest? And then we would actually have a clash between the two forces that obviously seem unstoppable to deal with. But right now, after having this, like, obviously Francis needed a comeback like this, first another first round knockout. But obviously it wasn't near the same level of skill set as John Jones, let's say. But if the fight actually happens, I would actually, after seeing the John that fought Stipe Miocic, right, I would actually favor Francis Ngannou a lot more, because even though he is a bit chinny, Francis, and also, though that was in boxing, I guess, and also in this fight, Philippe Lins also managed to hurt Francis a few times, obviously. But Francis, just considering the power that he has, and the level of mixed martial artist Francis Ngannou is at this point. And obviously John Jones is way out of his prime, bro. He's nowhere near as good as he used to be, like as the John who fought Gustafsson, or as the John who fought Shogun Hua, for example, a long time ago. John Jones, he's out of his prime for a reason, and I don't think he stands a chance against Francis Ngannou. But honestly, more than anything, I just really hope that fight actually happens, right? But yeah, honestly, Netflix, big ups to the guys. Obviously, we, people like me and you, obviously we got to watch it for free. But amazing card. I really hope they do more of these types of cards. And more than anything, I just really hope that this fight, specifically Fancy versus John, it actually gets made. But anyways, that's my take on this, guys. You guys, especially what you guys think. Inshallah, I'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.